Alright, so I guess you're wondering what tools you need and will be using for the first year of your electrical apprenticeship. So here is my tool bag with everything I use on a day-to-day basis. Well, some I don't use every day, but during my first year, these are all the tools that I'm using. If I don't show the tool in this video, I wouldn't recommend buying it. So I only go out and buy the tools that I'm going to show you now, but in saying that, it could be different. So in this company, I deal with, I do jobs such as solar, domestic, commercial, so your company may deal with different tools. So, but in general, this is the tools I use as a first year apprentice on a day-to-day basis. So first up is your pliers. So you'll definitely need to go out and buy yourself a set of pliers. So these come in individual packaging. You don't buy them as a kit, and they're quite expensive. So the first one I use are your side cutters. So these ones is just for cutting cable. So that's all you'll be using these for, but definitely come in handy. I've used these a lot in my first year. Next is your pliers. These will become your best friend. Every electrician that I know will use these all the time. These will be your best friend. So there's many different types, and it ranges from all different prices. But you'll also notice they're all, if you can see that there, 1000 volt rated. So insulated, 1000 volt rated. So, and you have to remember, you need to keep yourself safe. So don't go out and buy yourself a cheap pair that aren't insulated or marked 1000 volt rating. Now, my needle nose pliers, I don't use these a lot. So as a first year apprentice, don't worry about getting yourself a pair of these because you won't use them too much. So if you're on a budget, just buy yourself these two and they'll definitely get you through your first year. Like I said, and you can actually see that these are still shiny, and it just goes to show you that I do not use them that much. I've only ever used these if I've lost these, and to do anything with these is quite difficult. So don't worry about buying yourself a set of needle nose pliers. Alright, conduit cutters. So I've actually lost mine, so I had to borrow the other tradesman just to shoot this video. But my conduit cutters that I got are a cheap pair, and they perform exactly the way I want it to. Now there's many different price ranges and different styles you can get. They all do exactly the same thing, so just go out and buy what's in your price range. And now as an apprentice, our main jobs are when we get to a job site, we're either building something or running conduit. So you will be using these in your first year a lot, even all the way to being a tradesman. You'll be using these a lot. This is a part of our job, putting conduit underground, cutting it, gluing it together, installing conduit onto a wall. Many different ways we use conduit. So make sure you go out and buy yourself a pair of these. Next is the shifter. So just like I said before, a lot of our job is building something. So just go out and buy yourself a shifter. It can be a cheap one, it can be an expensive one. This one here I spent a little bit of money on because I bought a cheap one time, and I lent it to a tradesman, and he was tightening something up and he actually snapped it. So that after that incident, I was like, alright, I'm going out, spending a bit of money. And now this one, starting to get a bit of rust on it, as you can see, but it's really strong, and yeah, I definitely can't fault it. This one's called Barco, if you're wondering. So just a little short shank, brilliant. Allen keys. So get yourself a pair of set of Allen keys. Like I'll be using these all the time, like I said before, and our job will be mainly building stuff. So a lot of things you will be building will require the use of an Allen key. So make sure you go out, get yourself an Allen key, a set of Allen keys. So get yourself a whole set. They come in many shapes, many sizes. It just really comes down to your budget. Yeah, but Allen keys, definitely a must. A tape measure. Now these are self-explanatory, so they have all the measurements here. You're just measuring stuff. So the only difference between a cheap one and an expensive one is the strength of your actual tape. And for me, I bought myself a cheap one, and a lot of the time the tradesman will be wiring something up and your job is to measure something. And if you're measuring by yourself and you have a cheap one, you'll notice it starts flopping around and making your job so much harder. So you don't have to, like a cheap one will still do exactly the same that this one's going to do, just it's going to make your life a lot more simpler, a bit more cruisier if you spend a bit more money, and it gives you that extra strength in the actual tape. Alright, now next will be your screwdrivers. So to buy these individually it's quite expensive, so I reckon go out and buy yourself a kit. Now these ones are a bit higher up end of the market, so you don't have to go out and buy these, but what I do recommend is make sure you look at your tools and make sure they are 1000 volt rating, or they have the two triangles together to confirm they are the 1000 volt rating, as I'll show you on here. No, you can't really see it just because of the damage on it, but it actually says 1000 V and it's got two triangles. So in your kit you'll get two Phillips and then four flatheads. So you'll use these all the time, so even as a tradesman get familiar with using these, because these you'll be using them all the time. And don't worry about if you buy cheap ones, like I said, just make sure they are insulated and they are 1000 volt rating. Alright, next. So power tools. So this one is just an impact driver. As a first year, like this is the only one I need. If I need to get my tool bag and a power tool, so all I'll take is what I've showed you now and my impact driver. So I only use three parts from impact driver. It'll be a 5/16 bit, a 3/8 and a Phillips. This will get me through everything that I need to do in my first year. I haven't come across anything else that I've needed yet. Maybe an Allen key, but like I showed you before, like I've got an Allen key package there. So definitely go out and buy yourself an impact driver. It doesn't matter what brand it is, they all do exactly the same thing. So go out, buy yourself impact driver and these three bits. So 3/8, 5/16 and a Phillips. And it doesn't matter if they're shorter ones, but I just find if you actually have the larger extension part on it, just makes it a bit more easier. Like if you're undoing something, it's less bending over. So yeah, highly recommend impact driver. Don't worry about any other power tools as of yet. This is all I'm using at the moment. Alright, and now this tool here is my magnet. So my boss actually brought me this, and at the time I was unaware of what it's used for, and as time's gone on and I actually watched a video and I watched this guy using a magnet and I finally understood what he used it for. Now this is really cool because it can do two things. So your screwdrivers, or the bits that I actually showed you before, like these parts for the impact driver, like you'll notice over time, like a screw or a bolt will stop sticking to it. So you can actually get your magnet and run it down and remagnetize all your screwdrivers and all your bits. Just makes it easier when you're undoing something. Like instead of dropping it, it'll probably just stick to your screwdriver. So that's one use. Also, whenever you're cutting like a bit of a roof out or installing something into a wall, you can actually move this around and find the nails and the screws in the bits of wood in the wall. Then you can, like, you know exactly between the beams, in between the trusses. So if you've got an extra one of these, you can actually put on the roof and you can actually get an idea of where like you should be locating or where the center is. So when you do drill through a roof or a wall, you're not going to hit a stud. So definitely these are quite cheap, so go out and buy yourself one of these and put it on your tool bag. And so other than that, so that's my tool bag. So this one here I just got from the hardware shop. It's just a single strap that goes over, and there's many shapes and sizes, and there's no correct or right or wrong bag to get. It's just whatever your budget is and whatever you're comfortable having. So this one here cost me, I think, around 80 Australian dollars. So it does everything I need, it carries everything I need. Yeah, other than that, that's my tool belt. So just there, it's even got a little flap at the back, so I can, whenever I'm working, I can just put it down like that. And also become familiar with where you put your tools. So then when it's on your side, instead of looking down, you're able to just grab your hand down and grab whichever tool you want or need. So there's my yeah, so there's everything that I use on a day-to-day basis for my first year apprenticeship. Yeah, just all the tools that I've noted then, just these are the tools you need for your first year. Don't worry about going out and buying anything extra, because as you go on you can buy it slowly but surely. But if you've got the funds there, like, by all means go out and buy the best of the best, and and just get ready for the future, really. But other than that, everything I've said is everything you need for your first year. So if you don't have the funds, just go ask your parents. Maybe they can spot you some money. And also TAFE has a scheme now which they will loan you up to $22,000, and so that's during the 4 years of your apprenticeship. Now with this loan they will give you $22,000, and then at the end of it you only have to pay, if you finish your apprenticeship, you only have to pay back $18,000. So you actually get $4,000 off. So that's definitely something worth taking advantage of, like, because we all know, like, when we first start the money is not very high. So make sure you take advantage of that deal. But other than that, cheers for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and hey, let me know what tools you have, and we'll go from there.